When I started watching this movie again recently, about midway through, I actually thought about titling this video, "This movie is way better than I remember." But after some more time, I started noticing why I don't like revisiting this movie so much. At least not as much as the other Harry Potter movies so far. So in this video, you'll understand why that is and what other aspects of this movie stand out not only from today's perspective, but also from an adult's perspective, since most of us probably first watched this movie as a kid or teenager. So as always, first things first, how does this movie hold up in 2025? Let me start with the positives first, because this movie did a lot of things that I absolutely loved revisiting, especially now that we know that this movie is the last in the Harry Potter series, which gives us a normal school year. It already starts with little things like this chat Harry has with Professor McGonagall that really makes this feel like a school.
I was told I had to get an outstanding in my OWL.
So you did, when Professor Snape was teaching potions.
I mean, was that so hard? I can't imagine, yet other Harry Potter movies often miss out on making it feel like these students are actually living a normal school life. This is of course also the Harry Potter movie where the puberty hits the hardest. I mean, my god, these kids are getting really horny. All of this teenage drama does hit different as an adult and also comes with its downsides, but I'll get more into that later. For now, I really like that we get all this puberty, love, and romance stuff in this movie, because when else should we get it? These kids are now at an age where it feels natural, well, at least for most of the romance. And there's also no space for stuff like this in the two movies to come. Sure, you could leave it out entirely, but I think it's a part of seeing these kids grow up. I mean, of course there would be something like a love potion in the world of Harry Potter, so why not have a bit of fun with it?
She can never annoy me. I love her.
We also get our last Quidditch match in this movie. This time even with tryouts, Ron and Ginny are on the team and Harry is responsible for training all of them. It really feels like everything is coming full circle now. It's just nice to have another year at Harry Potter that checks all the boxes, like the train ride to Hogwarts, the Quidditch match, funny lessons where something explodes in the student's face. All now more nostalgic than ever, and it really would have been a shame if the last movie to feature this sort of stuff would have messed it up, but gladly it didn't. And it's also a great contrast for the later movies to play off of, so it's good that we now get another normal year of school. Another thing that we get for the last, but also the first time in this movie, and I'm very glad that we got it, is that Harry and Dumbledore finally work together. All these years, Harry looked to Dumbledore for guidance and protection, and more often than not, he was faced with resentment. So at least we get this one movie where Harry and Dumbledore become a team.
So I thought you couldn't operate within Hogwarts?
Well, being me has its privileges.
The CGI is also exceptionally well done. We're now entering an era with these Harry Potter revisits where I almost have to ask the question if today's movies can hold up with this. So it's definitely nothing that holds this movie back from today's perspective. However, the problem I have with this movie, and also why it's not necessarily my favorite Harry Potter movie to revisit, is that while I love that we get all these normal school things, after about an hour of this 2.5 hour long movie, it lacks a bit of substance for my liking. For the majority of this movie, there is no imminent danger or action that Harry is involved in. Most of the build-up and tension in this movie comes from the fact that we want to find out what Draco was chosen for and what memory Professor Slughorn is hiding. When I watched this movie for the first time, that absolutely worked, but in terms of rewatchability, these two main tension drivers don't really work anymore, so that's why a big part of the movie becomes a bit boring when you watch it another time. I think that's also why the movie felt the need to add stuff like the attack on the Dursleys' house, which was in the book and also isn't explored further. It was probably just meant as a quick action scene. Also, while the memory we finally collect from Professor Slughorn is very important, it's not really important for this movie, but more something that we had to find out for the next movies to work. And I think the movie knows that it's in a bit of an awkward position because they basically find out that, okay, we now have to find and destroy 6 Horcruxes. Well, that's definitely too much for this movie, so I guess we just start with 1 and then that's our final action scene. This leads to a final battle that doesn't really integrate into the rest of the movie. Dumbledore just happens to know this one place, they immediately head over there and return after like 10 minutes, and that's basically the final battle done. Having said that, Dumbledore's death is actually almost more exciting when revisiting this movie. Snape all throughout these movies is just amazing to revisit because in hindsight everything makes so much sense. Back then we simply thought that Snape is a traitor, but watching it now, knowing that he's a good guy that is pretending to be a traitor, just cinema at its finest.
Has it ever crossed your brilliant mind that I don't want to do this anymore?
And speaking of fine cinema, that brings me to my 3 favorite scenes in this movie. And my first favorite scene is Harry just goes with it.
You must be wondering why I brought you here.
Actually, sir, after all these years, I just sort of go with it.
I already liked this scene back then because it just shows how far Harry has come and how much he has gone through. But from today's perspective, just hearing him say after all these years just hits even harder. My next favorite scene is when Ron and Harry fight over the book.
It's a truth-telling serum. And that was...
Yes, this scene is funny, but that's not why I like it so much. I like it so much because it just builds or illustrates a great relationship between Ron and Harry. Like, Harry is the chosen one in all of that. But when it comes to scenarios like this, they're just friends. Ron doesn't think of Harry like he's the chosen one. When there's one good book, they're gonna fight over that one good book just like 2 very good friends should. And my third favorite scene is, well, I am the chosen one.
She's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one. Okay, sorry.
This movie oftentimes tries to dive a bit into the humor side of things and it doesn't work that often, but in this case, I really like the joke and it also gives us a glimpse of what Harry could be if he were a bit of a different, not as likable character. Now to my experience of watching this movie from an adult's perspective. So first, let's start with the teenage romance. Remember the romance between Harry and Ginny? The romance everybody complained about and hated the movies for? Well, it turns out that when you revisit this movie as an adult, it's still shit. If anything, it's probably even worse now. Like, what a low point for all of us Harry Potter fans. I think the script doesn't do the best job for their romance in the first place, but the scenes that Harry and Ginny do have together are just so incredibly awful.
Don't you trust me?
They just have no chemistry together. It just comes across as forced and awkward. It's like I can see that the movie really wants them to be together, but it's just not happening. However, other scenes I actually quite enjoyed revisiting, and although I'm like 100 years younger, I almost felt a bit like Dumbledore.
Oh, to be young and to feel love's keen sting.
It's things like the conversation between Harry and Ron and how they talk about the nice skin of Ginny and Hermione.
Hermione's got nice skin. Wouldn't you say? As skin goes, I mean.
It's awkward, but in a relatable way. Like, yeah, that's how you feel at a young age when your hormones kick in. Besides that teenage drama, the overall darker tone of this movie makes it more fitting for an adult viewer, which is of course also nice from today's perspective. In terms of deeper adult themes that I maybe missed as a kid, I didn't find that much in this movie. There is that short segment where Ron thinks that he drank liquid luck and then performs really well in his first Quidditch match. The takeaway being that sometimes you don't need anything extra, but believing in yourself can do the trick. It's a nice message for sure, but it's not like this message is the core of the movie. It's really just that short segment. One thing I didn't really notice as a kid, but ended up really admiring as an adult, but I'm not sure if it's really a theme, it's just the sheer determination and selflessness of Dumbledore in this movie. In this movie, Dumbledore is very logical and doesn't really talk about his feelings that much. That makes it easy to miss all this, but if you think about it, he knew for a while that he must die eventually for all of this to have a happy end. That means he went through all this trouble and suffering trying to stop Voldemort, knowing that he himself will never reap the benefits of Voldemort's defeat. That's one true hero if you ask me. So that concludes my experience of rewatching Harry Potter and the Hald Blood Prince in 2025. What can I say? It wasn't really as positive of a revisit as my other Harry Potter videos, but there were definitely elements in this movie that I still really enjoyed to revisit. So what are your thoughts on Harry Potter and the Hald Blood Prince? Let me know in the comments below, and if you haven't done so already, go check out my other Harry Potter revisit, and I'll see you in the next one.